Hi guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Draven commentary guide. So now, Draven is not a character that I play a lot, and it's not a character that I'm super duper good at, but I think I can play Draven to a decent level. So it's not like I'm some one-trick Draven who's really good at Draven, but it's not like I'm first-timing Draven. So actually when Draven first released, I actually did spam him a lot because on release he was pretty broken. So I did spam him a lot back when I was, I think, in silver, and I used Draven to get me to like gold, I believe. But Draven used to be pretty good. He is still pretty good, especially if you one-trick him. But I don't play Draven regularly, haven't played him in a long time, but I still think I'm alright with him. Main reason I'm playing Draven today is two reasons. Firstly, I gotta test out how strong he is for my tier list, and secondly, I just picked up this beautiful Draven skin from the Poro chest, so of course it's a good opportunity to play Draven. You know, whenever you got a skin, you got to use a skin. you guys know how it is. I do believe I've already actually made a Draven complete guide way back when, like months and months ago, before the 2.4 item update. But anyways, we may make an updated complete guide soon, maybe. I'm not too sure if I'm going to be playing Draven in ranked. Actually, recently I did play Draven in ranked, and I started off the game like 5-0, but like literally all my other lanes and jungle was losing, so eventually we ended up losing the match, which is pretty unfortunate. But yeah, so here we're up against Caitlyn and Morgana, a pretty staple bot lane, where because technically the weakness of Caitlyn is hard engaged, and Morgana's Black Shield sort of mitigates that, so Caitlyn and Morgana is a pretty staple lane. Now, obviously, you guys can see we both have Morgana support, so this is not a ranked game, this is in PvP, where I am testing the power of Draven. So here, we get into another fight, but I'm also low from the previous fight, but thankfully we're going to turn it around with just Draven's raw damage, and Morgana tanks a lot, enemy Morgana I should say, tanks a lot of the minions and dies from it, so we get a nice double kill. And honestly, I feel that even for Draven one tricks, like pretty much the game is determined on whether you get the first kill or you die the first death. So basically, if you get the first kill on Draven, you get the snowball rolling, and Draven is one of the most snowball heavy feast or famine champions out there, because if you can get a kill and cash in, especially in the early laning phase, like here it's only 2 minutes into the game, pretty much you won the lane, and pretty much unless you screw it up, you pretty much just won the lane, and you're going to be in a real good spot. And if you get killed on the other hand, pretty much you've lost the lane, and pretty much you're in a very bad spot, because you lose like half of your stacks, and yeah. Although there are games where you get neither kills nor deaths, and you get to like mid game where you have like a couple hundred stacks on your passive, and that's when you obviously need to get a kill to cash in, and you just need to avoid dying. It's still fine if you're going to the mid game neutral, but Draven's strength is really in the early game, like you guys can see here. Really, you want to destroy them in the early game, and if you don't destroy them, you're likely going to get destroyed. If you don't get destroyed and you're actually neutral in the mid game, you've already wasted your greatest strength, which is your early game, so that's no good at all. So here, Caitlyn ace in the hole. Amumu, who's at full health, decides he doesn't bother wanting to block for me, so yeah, so that was actually a needless death. I should be 1-0 and 2 at the moment, but the Amumu is just trolling, and obviously I ping him because I'm pissed off about that. And yeah, so he decides to go in by himself on the Zed, outs the Zed, and the Zed just walks away with no real consequence. In the meantime, Camille also gets away with no real consequence because Amumu went for the Zed instead of the easy kill on the Camille. So pretty much this Amumu is just pretty bad. So anyways, enough about Amumu. We're going to focus on our own gameplay. So we're back in lane, just clearing out the lane. One of the kind of problems that Draven has is that he needs to keep up his I think it's Whirling Death is his ultimate, his axes. So basically his Q where you spin the axe and you got to auto attack before it expires so that you can throw the axe, catch the axe, and maintain your Q, because really without the axes, Draven doesn't really do a lot of damage at all. So you need to maintain your axes. Of course, you gotta catch your axes to maintain them, as well as get your adoration stacks. So that leads to a problem where you are, a lot of the times you are forced to push the lane, because you got to attack the minions to maintain the stacks, and you're forced to push the lane. But basically, if you don't want to do that, you don't have a choice, but you can try to wait as long as possible before you actually hit the minions. Like right before the stack expires, you hit the minions, and which will allow you to, of course, maintain your stacks as best you can. Let's put it that way. So, you shouldn't try to keep on pushing the wave, because actually the way that you beat Draven playing against Draven is simply play safe and don't get killed. Draven will push the wave, and if your jungler has half a brain, he's going to be ganking the Draven, and it's going to be 3v1. Draven likely dies because he's pushed up. So that's the main way you counter Draven. But the problem with this main way is that you need the jungle help, and not every jungler is always privy to the fact that he needs to be ganking the Draven. So sometimes he just doesn't, and because of that, you just play safe the whole laning phase, you don't die. Draven gets out of laning phase 0 and 0 and 0 and 0, which technically is a small win for you. But what you really want is to just kill the Draven in the laning phase, which mainly happens with the help of your jungler. So, you know, if you play jungle and you're watching this, you got to gank the enemy Draven, especially when they're pushed up. So, yeah. So here, anyways, we're gonna actually get a reset and get the Bloodthirster. Now, I have been testing out this build on AD carries, where you basically go for BF Sword first and then go into your first item, unless, of course, your first item is the Infinity Edge, which, of course, is built out of the BF Sword, so that isn't really an issue. But I found out that actually going BF Sword into first item works really, really well for a lot of ADCs. Actually, we might cover that in future videos, but I'm still testing it out. Like, for example, Lucian. There is a new thing where you go BF Sword straight into Solari Charge Blade instead of going IE into Charge Blade. But yeah, so here Morgana makes the mistake of using her root on the Morgana, and if the only thing stopping me from going in is Morgana's root and her black shield, because if I go in and she roots me, I basically die because the CC is just so long. And if I go in and she black shields, I'm also in trouble because I can't. Actually, technically, I'm not really in trouble. I don't really CC people except for my E, but more or less, it should be fine. As a Draven, at least. But I have been playing against a lot of Morgana as a lot of characters. Like, for example, Ashe. I can't go in with the Black Shield because I cannot actually get off my ultimate on the people. So, basically, the main thing in this match stopping me from going in is Morgana's root. Because if I go in and get hit by the root, I'm dead. So, the moment Morgana uses her root on my Morgana, that's my green light to go in. Basically, I can go in and they can't really do anything about it because there isn't any protection for the Morgana or the Caitlyn. Another death to the ace in the hole. Really, really unfortunate. Not too much I could have done there to avoid it, so that's unfortunately the case. But anyways, as I said, I'm still testing the BF Sword into first item build. It's kind of a build that you also can use for Lucian and Xayah, but I'm still testing that out. On Draven, I can guarantee that that's definitely the way to go, because Draven wants AD in the early laning phase, so getting that 40 AD from your BF Sword is actually really going to help his damage in the laning phase, instead of going for like a Vamp Scepter building into the Bloodthirster, which doesn't really give so much AD. It gives more of the lifesteal and or rather the Vamp. So yeah, so here, Mundo, I see Mundo, and Mundo can't really kill me, so I'm just going after him. He flashes straight into the wall, and then walks straight into the wall, and me and Morgana actually managed to pick up the kill. Morgana accidentally takes the kill with her Tormented Soil, her W, so unfortunately I don't pick up the shutdown, but we still got him anyway, so it's still a positive outcome. Zed actually goes in, 1v, like, almost 1v5. Actually, it is kind of 1v5, because the rest of the team did show up to the party later on. So he kind of goes in 1v5. Nice charm by the Ahri onto the Camille. I finish up the job. Cashing in my stacks again. Here, I'm just unloading onto the Morgana. But nice Caitlyn traps to stop me in my tracks. Can't really walk past the Caitlyn traps. So no real way to avoid it there. So here, Mundo walks back in right after dying to me. Runs straight into me again. And as I said, I can 1v1 the Mundo because I do have a lot of damage. And I just kill him. I don't even need the moral reminder to 1v1 the Mundo at this point, just because of how fat I am. I already have both IE as well as Bloodthirster, so I have a lot of AD, a lot of lifesteal, and I basically can 1v1 pretty much anybody except maybe the Zed. I do need Zhonya's, then I can 1v1 the Zed. So pretty much I can 1v1 anybody on the enemy team at the moment. Of course, like if it's a 2v1, it's a little bit more questionable, but yeah. So we're in a really nice spot now. So we're gonna pick up the Zhonya's, of course, for the safety. The main reason for Zhonya's is Camille and Zed. Zed out needs to be negated by the Zhonya's, and Camille out as well. If you're trapped, you need that Zhonya's to help you out. And to some extent, even Caitlyn out, which you can actually Zhonya's to block the damage. And I've already died twice to the Caitlyn out, so maybe that's the way to go. I run face first into the enemy team here, but I'm gonna have to reverse direction, back it up. And the enemy team overcommits. Mundo overcommits and Camille overcommits, and we get both of them. Now Morgana finds herself out of position and she dies as well. Caitlyn was actually in the correct position, so she can't actually run away because she was at her max range. So really good positioning by the Caitlyn, not just running blindly in with her team, but unfortunately she underestimates how much damage we actually do, and we actually managed to kill her on the tower. So really nicely played by my team. And here we're just going to try to clear the mid wave, but the Zed shows up, so I can't actually get the mid tower because Zed, he has ultimate. If I go for the mid tower, he's going to ult me, and I do have the Zhonya's, but I don't want to just blow it blindly. So here, I have a bit of downtime. Can't really go for the wave there because it is pretty pushed up. As you guys can see, Camille just showed up, so wouldn't have been the move. In my downtime, I'm going to pick up the Skull Crab, just secure some vision for my team, and just rotate back onto mid, where I do predict a fight is going to be happening. So I'm going to stay out of vision, stay in the bush, so the enemy team doesn't actually know where I am, because as you guys know, especially if you're fed, if you're not in vision, it means that you are exerting pressure on the enemy team just because they don't know where you are. Of course, it's possible that that bush is warded because I don't actually have a sweeper to check, but here I snipe out the Zed with my ulti, and Mundo tries to actually go for a kill in the back line while my team is distracted, but I am not distracted and I take him down. So really nice kill on the Zed with the ultimate. I missed the first time, but on the recall of the ultimate of the Whirling Death, I did get him. So here, the enemy Morgana finds herself in no man's land again. She dies. Amumu doesn't ult for some reason, even though he could have got a 2 to 3 man out there. Nice root by the Morgana, allows me to pick up the kill, and Caitlyn 1 HP for an easy double kill. So here I become legendary, and I'm just gonna pick up my items. So the new Draven build that I do feel is good is normally you always go for Bloodthirster and IE as your first 2 items, at least in my opinion. And the third item I've actually tested Essence Weaver, but Essence Weaver after it got nerfed, it really isn't that good anymore. So I do think that the best thing to go for is the Slavi Charge Blade. Gives you the 100% crit that you want, and also Draven in a full-on team fight spams his W a lot, so it's really easy to get the Charge Blade stacks. So that's part of the reason as well. And the attack speed you get from the Charge Blade is actually really useful, because if you just W spam, you will run out of mana really quickly, but with the Charge Blade attack speed, you don't actually have to W spam unless you're in like an all-out fight. So you can actually just rely on only your Qs to just keep on juggling your axes. You don't have to keep on spamming your W. I feel like that's the kind of the increased benefit of the Charge Blade. So yeah, after that I always go for Mortal Reminder and the Guardian Angel, of course for the safety as well as the Gluttonous Greaves and armor penetration. In this match, it has particular value over the Mundo, which will cut his healing and also shred his armor. But the Mundo is kind of trolling because he kind of went for a Blade of the Rune King and IE, so I have no idea what kind of build that is, but he's kind of trolling, so yeah. Alright, so we're just hovering around the area, kind of waiting for a fight to break out, which you kind of predict that it will break out. But anyways, personally, I do actually prefer the old Mundo. Just putting it out there. I think the old Mundo was kind of... I mean, the new Mundo definitely has a lot of things that is good, like his new passive. But I do think the old Mundo had fit a better niche of just being good against magic damage and all. So here, enemy team smells blood in the water, going for the engage. I'm in the front line for some reason, because my team all ran behind me. So here, kill outs. I'm just getting off as much damage as I can. Camille hookshot wall dives into me in the back line. I have to Zhonya's her ultimate, and you see the value of the stasis right there. When she ults me, I just stasis, and she finds herself caught in the middle of 4 people. If she had killed me and died, I think that would have been worth it for her. But because of my stasis, she dies and I survive, so that becomes totally not worth for her. Now we have picked up the Mortal Reminder as well. We are 13, 2, and 11, so we are really fed. But as Draven, what you want to do is end the game as quickly as possible, because the later on it gets into the game, the more and more people will outscale you. Make no mistake, we do a ton of damage now, but we're not going to provide as much value to the team as like the Caitlyn or pretty much any other ADC, because every other ADC outscales you in the late game. In the early to mid game, of course you're still pretty good, but in the late game, you are gonna fall off. Even no matter how fed you are, if they get to like full build or nearly full build, they will outscale you. So you have to, you're on a timer and you have to end the game quickly. Here, kind of wanted to do some limit testing. I want to see if I can 1v1 the Camille, which I actually technically I didn't know I can, but I was just playing with fire here. So hitting the blast plant, not the blast plant, the Scryer's Bloom to clear out the Camille vision. Putting down some vision of my own to get some auto attacks on Camille. As you can see, boom, boom. like even with her bone playing, like 3 auto attacks pretty much kills her. I try to get her with my ulti, but unfortunately she does not die, and that gives enough time for the enemy team to rotate and kill me. Now, I did know that this was a very, very bad play, but I just want to see how much damage I could do to Camille and see if I can kill her. So yeah, I did know that that was a bad move, but I just did it on purpose because it was only a classic game. It was only a normals. It wasn't a rank, so not too important. It's important to do some limit testing, see how much damage you can actually do, see what you can get away with. That's at least my philosophy when I play normals. So here, my team just hovering around. Of course, not the best idea to get into a fight because I'm not around. But we do have the Kale, who does scale extremely well. She's 4-2 and 15, so she should be doing a lot of work at this point in time. As you guys can see, Kale putting in a lot of work with those waves. She is already level 14, so kind of hitting her power spikes already. And pretty much with that, my team can finish off the game, I believe. Yeah, they do just as I respawn. But yeah, so that would be the Draven game. So I'm gonna leave you guys with the stats as usual. So thank you guys for watching the video, and goodbye.